So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to go over our Bring Your Own Device program, and then after I go through the presentation, we're going to open it up for question and answer times. I actually have a panel that's going to come up here, so it won't just be me, but it'll be all the experts that have been helping us research this for the past 5 years that are going to come up and be available to you guys tonight. I think we can all agree that technology has changed our lives, and it continues to do so. It enables us to have skill, information, problem solve, to go out there and to make decisions. You know, how many of you guys are continually Googling throughout the day? I know our students are continually Googling. Technology is with us, whether it's a technology from learning how to turn on electricity that was with us way back when, to the technology today is being created moment by moment. The reality of this world is that we have to prepare our students to become digital citizens in this new age that we have. The world of devices and education around our students has so many options, so many choices, what to select, what to try. Here at Rancho, we are actively asking, what are our goals with technology, and what device is going to help us get and meet that goal? These are the questions that we have been asking for the last 5 years. So let's take a look at our timeline. When we first started here with our high school at Rancho, it was 5 years ago, which is hard to believe. We wanted technology in the hands of all of our students. We wanted literature at their fingertips, and we started off with the e-readers at the time. Small devices. Then we went, it was the Sony readers, I believe, was our first ones, and then we went into our Nook program. This was excellent. It met that goal. But what we quickly learned is that technology changes so fast, we could not keep up with it. And on top of that, our goals, our world started expanding with really the understanding of Web 2.0 and what tools are available for our students. Technology is changing so quickly, it's impossible for us to keep up with the shifts in technology. We wanted to provide these devices, but after 5 years of operating under our original paradigm, we knew we had to do something different. So we switched our strategy. So this new strategy consisted of talking to other schools, many schools, who were operating under a similar paradigm, as well as looking at our network system that we have. In those 5 years, we visited numerous schools, talked with numerous instructional IT directors, as well as numerous IT directors, systems directors at schools. There's a huge back end that we had to research, as well as the front end of curriculum and devices. During this time, we upgraded our wireless internet, we added access points, we got a new filtering system, we adopted Google Apps for Education, and we also put devices into teachers' hands. And we worked really closely with students as they were bringing devices on campus. By January of this year, over half of our students were bringing devices onto campus. This enabled our teachers to start requesting students, hey, on research day, will you bring a device here to school? Teachers started noticing the value that that had in the classrooms, not only with research, but with collaboration, students working together, teachers working with students. The ability to communicate just opened up completely. So with the implementation of Google Apps for Education, our students and teachers could work together in these collaboration efforts. So for the last 5 years, our staff was growing and experiencing the benefits of integrating technology, as well as our students. So why BYOD? BYOD stands for Bring Your Own Device. We looked at schools who purchased netbooks for their school. That was the device of choice 3 years ago. It seemed fantastic at that time, but now 3 years later, those same schools are ditching those devices. We looked at schools that implemented an iPad program in those schools. Well, iPad 1 no longer can be updated. So when we're looking at our goals of curriculum integration combined with technology, we as a school need something that will grow with us. We found in our school, and in talking with other schools, that students benefit greatly by having their own device. Students want to personalize. They want to know their own operating system. They want to know their own software. They don't want to have Big Brother, the school, continually monitoring that device. And we noticed that with the Nooks. One of the first things we noticed happening 5 years ago is students wanting to jailbreak. And parents thinking it was great to have it jailbroken. So this personal device, they wanted it to be personal. They wanted it to be theirs, which is understandable. Look at their bedrooms. They want it to be theirs. We wanted a technology that would integrate with us. We didn't want to be a school that had a device that dictated our curriculum, but we wanted our curriculum to dictate what was happening in the classrooms. So, we had to look at our goals. And here's our goals. We had to first look at our ESLers. And ESLers are the things that we stand for at the school. And over here in every classroom, you will see a list of our ESLers. Right over here in this wall, Christ-like, articulate, wholesome, critical thinker, and a lifelong learner. So we had to look at how does technology fit in with our ESLers at our school. We had to look in how does it fit in with our curriculum and what are we wanting to accomplish in technology and why technology in our classrooms. So you can read through these goals here, 21st century skills. We wanted to close the gap between the way the students are living and learning. We wanted to, going back to the ESLer of the lifelong learner, to be able to access accurate information. Anybody can Google. But how do we teach our children what's accurate, what is legitimate out there, and what is just not some high school kid posting something that looks fabulous, which we all know is out there. We wanted to differentiate and individualize the instruction, collaboration, build student portfolios to have our students to be able to articulate who they are. And that is on the World Wide Web. Kids are posting stuff all the time. So why don't we come alongside them and teach them what's appropriate, how to articulate who you are. And if you guys saw any of the senior presentations, they're fantastic. By the time they're seniors, we want them to be able to not only articulate in front of their school, but also in the world of the web. Continue our program in having high quality literature at their hands at all time. And then this last one is my favorite one. This is the one that I really want us to camp on. I'm really glad. Let's see here what we got going. All right, teach godly digital citizenship. This is a must for us at Rancho. We want to reinforce the essential skills of critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. We want this to be a conversation that is happening at all times, in and outside of the classroom. Not just to be godly citizens offline, but also while they're online. So with those goals, we need devices that are going to assist in creating and producing quality work. There's two types of tablets out there. There's a producing device and a consuming device. So the device options. We want to look at the producing ability. So when you guys are looking at devices for your students, there's two types. There's the types out there that you can produce. You can create a document, a spreadsheet, do a presentation. You can also consume information. You can look up those maps. You can do your research. You can read your favorite book. We want a device that merges the two, merges them together. We spent so much time looking at every device that was out there. We would go and buy devices, keep them for 30 days, and then send them back because they would not work for our program. So the one thing that we landed on, the readers at the very beginning, that would be a consuming device. All you are doing is you're reading, you're consuming information. We want our students to be producers. Part of that lifelong learner, part of that life ready that we're trying to go for here, that we are going for here. So a producing device would be a laptop, could be a Surface tablet, an iPad tablet, with the certain apps that come with it. You need to have the ability to type, all right? So with a tablet, you've got to have the ability to have an external typing device or, be able to type efficiently. We're talking quality work here for our students. Now, I have every student that tells me, I can do quality work with my thumbs on my phone. I don't agree with that, all right? So what device do we not recommend? The consuming only. Your phones, the small iPods, the really small tablets. We also don't recommend the Android devices, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when we get into the filtering, but they just do not produce quality work. The Kindle Fire does not produce quality work. So it's something that you guys, as you're shopping and looking around, test it out. Can you create a document? Not just send an email, but an actual research paper on that device. Can you research on that device? Does this device have a long enough battery life? Now, we've been piloting this for 5 years, teaching responsibility to students coming to school with their device charged. That's important. That already happens here. That's not going to change. They need to be able to have that device last all day. It's got to start up within a minute. If you have an old computer at home and it takes 10 minutes to start up, again, that's not going to be able for them to produce quality work because the classes are going to be moving on ahead of them. We want it to be able to start up pretty quickly. E-reader, which everyone can have now. And then a newer operating system. XP right now is not going to be serviced, and we've got someone who can speak more into that later, an expert in the field. But if you have that, and you just are going to need to know that it's not going to be able to be serviced down the road. And Apple's fine as well. Each device should have a warranty plan, a case, security system on it. So when I look at that, there's a lot of questions that I had to ask. And right now I'm going to put on my parenting hat. I am a mom of 3 teenagers here at this school. I'm a mom that never planned on paying for private education. It just kind of happened upon us freshman year of high school. I'm a mom whose kids like to play in sports. They've got to have uniforms. They want to go to Catalina. All the things that happen in the life of Rancho, which are all important and quality things that we want our kids to partake in. So the first question I had to ask is, what device do I have at home? Well, it seems like we have a lot of devices at home. So I looked at those devices. We have a Nook. Great, it's not a producing. They cannot create research on it. I have an old Apple computer that I absolutely love. That's going to go to my child, which kind of saddens me on one level, yet I'm not going to have to buy another device. It's a great computer. It'll be fine for her. The white old MacBooks, they're great. We also have an iPad with an external keyboard, and I've watched my daughter working like crazy, being able to work on that. And then we have this little tiny 1 gig black Acer. Grandma bought it at Costco a couple years back. That Acer will not work. When she goes to open, and this one has been a lemon. We had 2 of them. One was fine. This one just wasn't. It just doesn't start up. It's just so tiresome. She brought it in for a history project. It's just not going to work. It's not quality. So what we've done, since this was first announced back at Vision Night, we've actually got our envelope system going. We're putting away for it, and we're talking about devices. It's 2 devices that are more economically feasible for us. One is the iPad mini, and another one is a PC. Now where Mama wants to land is I want this $300 device that I saw at Best Buy, and we're going to show you some of those later on tonight, because again, it's that producing device. What she wants is the iPad mini, because that's the cool device of the day. So I don't know where we're going to end up meeting in the middle with this, but that is the reality of what we're looking at. So there isn't just one device that we're going to camp on. You guys need to ask the questions, do I have a senior? Is this a device I want them to take to college, or do we just want to give them something that we have and then at graduation maybe get them that device for college? Or do you have a freshman who maybe is a little clumsy, maybe a little forgetful? You're not going to want to go buy an Apple MacBook Pro for that freshman. Just think about your child. Every device is going to be personal to you, your family, your child. If you have a super responsible freshman coming in that, oh my gosh, her room is always clean, she is like this type A personality, then maybe you do want to invest in something that'll go all 4 years for her. So it's personal. That's why it's bring your own device. What makes sense for you and your family? Okay, so the next thing that we got to talk about, let's talk security for our children. This is a hot topic. This is extremely important to me. If any of you guys know me, you know that it's one of my highest topics that I'm continually talking to parents about the importance of internet security and safety for our children. But let's first talk about our school web filtering system. We got a new web filtering system this year. It's called Lightspeed. We have an IT department that just loves keeping your children safe, literally. We see every web page that has gone on. Apps are just web pages. It's just software that's being downloaded. So when a kid is on something, we can see what it is that they're on if they're on our network. The beauty of that is that we can keep kids safe while they're on our campus, which is kind of nice, which means that there are no mobile hotspots allowed on our campus. Your kid can't bring their own little device. No tablets that have the ability to get online, that have a data plan. No, we're not going to have those on our campus either, because our job is to keep every child safe. Even though you may think my child's totally responsible and totally safe, when they're on our campus, when they're in our care, it is our job to make sure not only your child, but the child and the next child and all the 20 kids in that class are safe. So we're not going to allow any of those outside systems in here on our school campus. So if they are caught, just like if a kid's caught with his phone, we'll confiscate it. Mom and Dad will either have to come pick it up later. That's just the way it's going to be. The other thing that we're doing to keep your kids safe is we have our own email system within school, so that teachers can email your students, the students can email the teachers and one another within our network. You as parents will not be allowed to email any children on our school. So if you want that ability with your child, you can create with them your own, Gmail account, Verizon account, whatever it is you have. But while they're here on campus, how they're going to communicate with the teachers and with each other and our projects is through our school email. It's a ranchochristian.org email that they will have. And it's really cool. It's really fun to see. The kids are going to have the ability, or they have it right now, to create their own Google site that they do, and it's all protected. It's all within our school. So you can't look at another student's Google site unless your kid has permission and they show it to you. But it's not like any other parent can interact with any other kid. It's pretty neat. And again, our IT department is on it. Our job is to keep your kids safe, and it's utmost importance. There's a lot of smut out there in the world. And our kids are growing not only physically and maturing, but they're also growing spiritually. And we want to come alongside your kids in that growing of their little tender hearts. And, when they're little, we're guarding their hearts for them until they have the ability to guard their own heart. And even my teenagers, as much as they want to fight me on it, they're all at different levels spiritually and emotionally, even though they're the same age. It's still up to mommy and daddy to protect those little hearts. So what do we do when they're not on our school system? What do you guys do? Well, I highly recommend your own accountability software. There's a whole bunch of them out there. But our students, our teens of today, get in way more trouble with their cell phone than they ever do with a laptop or with, an iPad. The cell phones, just like when we start allowing our kids to watch Disney movies and TV and G movies, you're not going to have your 6-year-old watch a PG-13 movie. You would look at another parent and go, bad parenting, right? In the same way, you need to move and grow with your child in the world of the social media, World Wide Web. There is nothing wrong with a parent saying, no, you cannot have a Facebook account until you are in high school or mid-high school. But you can have a Facebook account with mom and dad, and we together can navigate this. There is a lot of smut out there. Our kids get in more trouble on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, these apps out there, than they ever do in a laptop on their cell phones. So I highly, highly recommend every device you have, whether it's your home stationary computer your laptop, their mobile devices, that you have an accountability software on it. There's another one called My Mobile Watchdog. It's actually been on, Oprah has talked about it. Different talk shows have talked about it. It's pretty well renowned. They're not that expensive to get on it. And afterwards, we actually have some flyers, right? For you guys on this so that you can be well informed. But we need to know what our kids are doing. In the old days, my husband and I used to talk about when we were young, before we had kids, man, our kids are only going to have that phone with the, it's stuck. There's not going to be any wireless phones in our house. What were they called back then? They were just, but you remember the phones with the cords? Cordless. There you go. Yeah, the cordless phones. And I laugh now at that conversation that took place in our young 20s because that doesn't even exist anymore. Yet, we have our kids have their cell phones in their bedroom with the world of smut right at their hands. So it's something that I'm very, very passionate about, if you can tell, that we have to protect our children. So please, please protect your children with that. So, how are your kids going to get connected on our security and with the email and student information? We're going to have a tech week. The week before school, you're going to sign up with your child. You can send your child on their own, or you're welcome to come with them. And we're going to get that device registered. Every student's going to have to sign a usage agreement with your signature. You need to read it, they need to read it, and then the IT department's going to sign it, so that we're all in agreement on these rules together. During that week, we will give them access to our web filtering system so that as soon as they get here into our system, they'll be able to get all the tools that we have for them, their email, the student information system, which right now is Edline. That will be different next year, so we're going to be teaching the students how they can access their accounts and their classes and grades and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to happen the week before school. So information will come out about that, but your kids will sign up. We're going to do blocks of 10 kids at a time so that they can sign up with our IT department and we can get them all hooked up on that. Historically, what we've heard from numerous schools is when this has happened in a high school, because currently kids can bring their devices. Kids in the middle school are already bringing their devices. They too will have to sign a usage agreement. It's just not in our daily activities with our teachers right now. We've got our teachers right now who are learning how to put their systems in place, their classroom management. We all passed notes and played games as kids. I bet you every single person in here did it at least once. It's no different than today. It's just changed how it looks. And so our teachers are coming up with their classroom management on that. So historically in other schools, it's just naturally, organically happened in the junior high, but it's not going to be highly recommended to bring their device at this time for that. Okay, so things to think about. Our question and answers. I want to send you guys all to our webpage. When you go to our webpage, you're going to go to this tab called About, and then you're going to go to this tab called Technology, and then you're going to go over to High School. And on there are 4 pages of frequently asked questions. Now, I'm hoping tonight that we're going to get even more questions that we don't know about so we can continue to update that webpage. But anybody who's not hearing you talk to, please send them to that webpage. It goes on and it talks about, what BYOD means, and then everything that we could think of. One of the big questions was security. How are we going to keep these devices safe? Well, just like our Nooks, if your kids are using them in just about every class, they're going to have them on them. This is going to go back to teaching responsibility, to working with your students. Every single faculty is on it. My own child decided to leave her backpack in the middle of the worship center, and $50 was taken out of it. Now, that's not the school's fault. That is my child's fault. Do we have eyes and cameras everywhere? Yes, we have doubled the amount of security cameras we have on our campus this year. So there are eyes everywhere, and believe me, the kids know. It's hysterical, because they're continually looking around. Now, at that moment in the worship center, we weren't able to see, what had done, but we have. There have been cell phones taken that our cameras have found. So we will do everything we can on our part to research, to ask questions, to interview. But we also need the students to do their part and being responsible with their devices. And if you've got, your laptop there in your backpack, don't leave it in the bathroom during PE. Put it in the locker. It's just stuff like that, and it will fit in your locker. Now, will it fit in your locker? Like one of my child that has like 3 sets of clothes. It's a uniform school. Why does she have 3 sets of clothes in her locker? Don't know, but she does. With her makeup, with a brush. Okay, well, you know what? No, your laptop's not going to fit in your locker. So let's take the other stuff home. So as you guys talking this out with your students, their lockers are big enough for that.